Hi people, how are you? Welcome in, welcome back. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Hoshi. I go by they any pronouns and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about my journal ecosystem. It was like a trend a few months ago. You have to know that in my life I have been keeping a lot of journal of different types, but now I have ended with quite a few journals that are currently active in my present and current life. What does they mean active? It means like that some of them I use them daily, on daily basis or weekly basis, and some of others are not used like that frequently, but they are specific for things, so they are used more regularly, but they are still like used in my current life. Like if something happened that is specifically regarding that journal today, I will write in that. Okay, so I have quite a few actually because I like to journaling. If you don't know me, I journal a lot about many things. I love journaling. I love scrapbooking. I love drawing. I love being creative. I love writing. So journaling is basically definitely a thing that I love to do. And I actually like in my life, I spent quite a long time trying to figure it out the perfect journal for me. I, for many years, tried to bullet journaling without much success until academic year of COVID. I was using my bullet journal also has a school diary. I don't know if that's a thing outside of Italy, but basically we have school diaries where you write your own works, your test, and you keep notes of those. And it's basically like a planner, it's from September to June and you have every day. There was this year in high school where I said, you know what? Let me use my bullet journal as a diary. So maybe I can actually stick with it. Because my problem with bullet journal is that I wasn't sticking with it. I am a person that is not very capable of being accountable with things and constant with things and consistent. And I was struggling with that. And by using it as well as the school diary helped me a lot, and that's the only bullet journal that I was able to stick with it, and I am super proud of it. I actually ended it like I finished like literally the journal. Like I have still some white pages, but they were not a lot. And I tried to start a new one after that. I think it was like my first year of uni. I don't think it was like I wasn't able to stick with it, but I just didn't feel like I needed it. And then I started to use a lot of Google Calendar, which was something that I wasn't using much before. And basically, Google Calendar became my planner in life. So yeah, I always struggle with that, and I basically made a journey for finding my ideal journals. And I arrived here with a bunch of journals that I always use. I mean, that I use currently in my life. So let me also know if you would like to see a video with all the journals that I kept in my life, for what they were, what their purpose was, and how did they go, why did I stop. But let me know if you would like that. Now, for my main journal that I really use on a daily basis, not every day, but like quite often, is the Everything Journal. The definition that I gave to this journal is literally a journal where I note and write random thoughts that I want to remember and I don't know where else to write. It's like a sketchbook, but with thoughts. That's how I define it and how I wrote on the first page of it. here. I brought this definition. And I started in February 2025, so I've been keeping these journals since then. It's literally a notebook where I wanted to put anything. That is because I was using a lot of piece of paper I had near me on the desk to write notes down. I wanted to like remember something, or I wanted to like keep notes for games, for uni, for I know something that was happening in my life at that time. And it was kind of difficult to keep them all together and near me, or like find them again in the chaos of my desk. So I thought maybe I need a journal where to put all these things. I was inspired by this because I saw one of my friends having like a notebook that a small notebook that he was always bringing it with him everywhere, and he was using it to write things down if he needed like to write something down. I remember that, and then I also like searched more about the commonplace book, which is a personal notebook used to compile any information the owner finds interesting or useful. In a commonplace book, there could go basically anything. It's like notes, quotes, prayers, receipts, or whatever. And I was inspired from that, basically. I feel like you can call it a commonplace book, yes, but I don't really like it. Like, I prefer everything journal because I feel like a commonplace book is more about notes that you find useful and that you want to go back and use those information, those notes. And I feel it's not that what I writing these in here is not useful. It's just dumping my ideas, my thoughts, brainstorming, and writing things that I don't know what else to write, basically. It is a messy journal. Literally, there is no layout, there is no plan about it, there is no plan way on how to write things. The only thing that there was kind of this plan thing or like set up thing was like that at the start of it, I had kind of a color code, and I was using different colors to like for different topics. For example, like if it was like a dumping about music, it was a color. If it was a dump about quotes, it was another color. I was writing things and then go back to it and use a color on it to like identify it as a topic. Then I stopped because I started having more topics that I was using this for, and I didn't want to use too many colors, so I stopped. I actually use it also for brainstorming, but usually I brainstorm digitally. But sometimes I really need to like brainstorm on paper, and this is perfect because I just write down things. But for example, uh, I am decluttering and reorganizing my room, so I made like some schemes on what I want to put in different parts of the room, and I felt like it was more useful to do it on paper than spending time on doing on digital when I could have done it here. My second most used journal is my D&D journal, which sounds like, is it really a journal? I don't know, I feel yes. It's clearly like it's a notebook, and it's just notes about the campaign that I am currently in. The first page is information, main information about my character. I still have to like make it pretty and cool because it's currently only on written on pencil. But I would like to have like a cool thing where I can go and check on information about my character if I forget something. It's literally just the notes about the campaign plus some papers about reminders about the campaign, about my attacks. I have my character sheet on digital, so I look at it there. And I also like have a bunch of things that I open every time that I have the campaign, which are like a mood board of my character sheet, general information about my class if I have to check something, and also a page about my character that I wrote, uh, of information that I haven't written here, but they are useful in case something specific happened and I want to like check what my idea of the character was. The next main journal, which I don't know if we can consider a journal, is my sketchbook, which I really love the notebook that I use for it. It actually started as a bullet journal, but I stopped like after 1 month, so it's just the first few pages, which is fine. I sometimes I forgot that I have it, but it's literally my sketchbook, with me just sketching things. I'm not using it much lately, but it's literally where I sketch. And sometimes I really, really need to sketch on paper because I love sketching, and sketching on digital doesn't feel the same. I kind of used it as a journal for a while I was in a burnout. I started to drawing what I feel because I needed to reconnect with my thoughts, with my feelings, and also with my creativity in a way because I was burned out from a lot of things, but mainly uni. So I was burned out for studying, and I was avoiding a lot of things, and doing this small journal, drawing journal, helped me a lot with like identifying things that I was avoiding. This is why I consider this a journal, even if it's not exactly a journal, maybe it's just a sketchbook. But I feel like sketchbook can still be considered as a journal, to be honest. Then we have my bright journal, which is actually more digital than physical, but I also have a physical version, which is this cute binder, small binder, that I actually use also for different things, but I also use it to like write. Write journal mean like normal journaling about my day, about my feelings and things. Um, I usually write on digital because I got used to it because I was used to like write when I was overthinking in bed, so it was easier for us to do it on my phone. So I used to journal on digital, and I have a lot of documents about my journal. I journal on Google Documents, so I have it on PC or on tablet or on the phone whenever I want, wherever I want. And I literally have lots and lots of documents about it. I was also starting to kind of catalog them with some tags to have more context about what I wrote, because sometimes I don't give much context because I just write about my feelings. And it's nice to like go back and read and know a bit more of context, because sometimes I was reading again, it was like, who am I talking about here? Or what am I talking about it? Not person necessarily, but also like what situation was happening, you know? So if I remember, I try to give more context about it through some tags. I actually really, really like this binder, so I hope that one day I will be able to use it more. And it's super good because being a binder means that I can just remove the pages that I don't use anymore and put white pages, and it's super nice because I can reutilize it whenever I stop using it for a reason. So I really, really like it. Next, we have my junk journal, which is kind of in pause because I am planning on doing it in another way, on another journal, on another on the project kinda. But last year I started doing it because I always collect a lot of junk from the world, basically where I was going. And I did a couple of pages with things that I had around and basically tickets from public transport and things. I want to do it more in future, so it is kind of on pause, but I can always collect junk. So I definitely will do more junk journaling in future. I don't know if specifically in this notebook, but definitely junk journaling is still there. But for now, I have this, and I have some pages that I want to do that I am already planning. Next, we have my travel sticker journal. This is a special journal that I feel like it's kind of a mix between a travel journal and a junk journal. I also draw a bit on the cover, and I draw treasure from around the world because basically what I like to do is collecting stickers from the places that I visit. What does that mean? That I visit a place and I search for a sticker that I like to collect it. I just buy a sticker and put it on it, and if I have something else about that place, I will scrapbook a little bit, like here. Right now it's just that because I haven't done it much, but it's still ongoing because like I want to do that, but I don't travel much, so that's why it's not that big. But and it's also a kind of recent thing that I decided to do. But I am so excited to continue, and it's like kind of way of collecting and keep memories of where I travel or place that I visit. So it's super super nice, and I love it so much. Last but not least, we have my media journal, which is probably the most used from these last specific journals, but I actually stopped for a while and just started using it again a bit more during this month. I write down specific thoughts about some series that I'm watching or movies, and because sometimes I have a lot of thoughts or a lot of opinion on it. Like for example, when I watched it irregularly, I had a lot of thoughts and opinion about it, and I was like, I reflecting on it, and I was like dumping my thoughts a lot on other people. So I made a page about it, and I wrote some thoughts up under it because I needed it. I needed to like write down these thoughts. But I want to like do that often because I really really like to think more about what I'm watching and give my opinion about it. And also I write down, for example, challenges that I do or what I want to watch next. It's still a work in progress, still figuring out how to do it. I just did a few pages, but media journal, I love it. Also, it's like an addition to my watch read tracker spreadsheet that I have and that I use constantly because I update it every time that I watch something and I finish to watch something or to read something. This is like an addition to it. So it's not to keep track of what I watch, it's more like writing more about what I watch. So writing thoughts about what I watch, writing challenges, which is something fun to do, you know, or writing what I want to watch next, you know. So things that I don't have in my spreadsheet, of course, which is only a tracker. To finish this video, I want to like talk about a journal that I would love to have, but I still haven't done it, but it is in my mind since forever, which is a tarot journal. I would love to have both a journal where to write down the readings that I do and my interpretation about it, and I would like to also have a journal to help me with interpretations. So like having a page for each tarot card and write my feelings about that card, what I think that card means, and the symbols of the cards, what the symbols means. And like keywords about that card. That's definitely a journal that I want to do, but I still haven't done it. Okay, well, that was it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I hope that I kept company to you, and I hope that you liked my journals. If you have any question about it, of course, feel free to ask me in the comment. If you want to know more about my journals, please let me know. Also, let me know what is your must-have in your ecosystem. Thank you so much for being here today, and see you next video. Okay, bye bye.